Vague refers to something that is unclear or imprecise in its meaning or intention. Inconsistent, on the other hand, refers to something that does not remain the same or is not uniform in its behavior or quality.
All right, then. I guess we'll see how it is when I create the episode. What? Throwing up gang signs? What's
No, he was Shocker, but he's got his coke nail, which is the worst. Yeah. No wonder. No wonder Allie's in the back crying right now.
He's scraping those polyps out. It's like, I got you.
Dr. Lou. House calls.
Oh, wait. Welcome to Vaguely Inconsistent. We're back 2 weeks in a row. Look at us being consistent. Worst podcast name ever. See, we're too consistent for this podcast name.
Exactly.
I'm too consistent for this pod. Oh.
I'm too consistent for this pod. Too inconsistent.
Nope, I'm not going to join in. Sorry, guys, you're on your own.
Pod's going.
Where'd Duke go? He left.
Since he forgot, that's Jack somewhere, one of these directions, and then Duke
one
is
of us.
These directions. And then
you know us by now.
Yeah, y'all know who we are. All five of
you. All five of you.
Go back and watch the first episode when we introduce ourselves. It'll give you something to do while you're cleaning the house this weekend.
Get some context. Come on, people.
Yeah.
Step it up.
Tell a friend.
So what are we jumping into first?
Let's see. How's your car situation, Lou?
Okay.
Did you guys get rentals? Did you get cashed out yet?
So almost. So that first.
Real quick, Lou, summarize if it's your first time here. Lou, summarize in like two sentences what happened.
Previously on Vaguely Inconsistent.
So we get more clicks that way, man. We're trying to get sponsored.
That's true. Go back and listen to the last episode, and then come back.
Exactly. We'll wait.
Pause this. Go.
Yeah, we're gonna wait for you.
All right, hang on.
Welcome back.
All right, yeah.
All right, welcome back. Thank you for checking out that last pod. So you know what happened. So from that first accident, they paid me out for the door, $1,800 or something like that. So that's kind of cool.
Dang.
And then the totaling, I actually just got that number yesterday. It was $20,000.
Wow. What'd you owe on it?
25 or something like that. But I have Gap, so
right.
I'll end up
they'll cover the rest of it.
Yeah. So they'll cover the rest of it. So I won't get a payout from that. So now it's a matter of just waiting for that process to happen. My insurance has to send the check to my lender, and then I have to put in the Gap claim through my lender, and then they pay the difference. And I had like a 150% coverage on Gap.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, okay, I didn't have to worry about being upside down. So now it's just a matter of I'll go hunt for a vehicle pretty soon here, relatively soon. We'll get to that in a second. And then for Allie's, she actually just got hers today. It looks like cars for her were her payout number anyway was around 6,900. It was a 2012 Escape. And we saw some comps.
Nice.
We saw some comps, and it's about 55 to 65. So it's about right where it was. Yeah. So she'll go look for something fairly soon here. I would imagine by the next podcast, she'll have a new vehicle and have that replaced. And for her rental, they did say they would reimburse her. So she got a rental for a week and a half so far. They're trying to fuck around with that though. It's like, hey, your only good rental is good until Saturday. We're going to reimburse you to Saturday. I'm like, no. Email them back and let them know they will reimburse you until you get your payout. We ain't playing that shit. It's like if you happen to have the payout, and they might have her payout by tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe.
And if they do, no problem. She'll take the car back and happy to work with you. We're not going to keep the car long enough. You did your job and you gave her her payout. So for the totaling, no big deal. So she may have that done by Friday or Saturday. She had to send paperwork out today, overnighted it. And I didn't know. I learned this with my refund. or pay out on my doors. They have this instant pay thing where if you do a check, it's 1 to 2 business weeks. If you do a bank transfer, it's 2 to 4 business days. Or if you give them your debit card to your bank, they transfer the shit in like 30 seconds.
Oh.
So, yeah. So I typed in my information, and once they told me, oh, here's your payout for your doors, blah, 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 do it this way. I'm like, all right. So I did it and wasn't kidding. Like less than 30 seconds, the $1,800 was in my account. So I was like, oh, sweet.
That's cool.
So they'll do that. She has the same system. They'll do that for her on her payout. My payout for the totaling obviously doesn't exist because it goes to the lender. So
Right.
yeah, so she'll go hunt for another SUV here probably this weekend or early next week. My situation a little bit different because I have a truck still that I
Right.
can drive, and I've got Denver Comic-Con and San Diego coming up. I'm like, well, if I can get away not paying a payment or two for 2 months, let me save that real quick. Now the downside is I still might have to pay my car payment for June. It's due in 10 days, and I don't think they'll have the payment and the gap payment all covered by then. So it's like, it is what it is. But so I'll probably have a June payment, but I most definitely will not have a July payment. So when all said and done, I'll save 1 month, and maybe before I head down to Comic-Con and I'm renting a car to drive down, I'll get a car before I leave. So when I come back, there's already one waiting for me. But that means that would put my first car payment, likely the end of July or
September-ish.
early August. Yeah, I would say even August. If I go in late July, it's probably a September car payment. So
yeah,
I'll see. But if I find something that's worth a damn before then, I'm not going to be stupid. I'll get it. But I'm not going to be actively hunting necessarily either. It'll just be I'm more concerned about, let me take care of the payout, let me take care of the gap, let me make sure that one's zeroed out so I can go in and get a new car. And whenever that happens, it happens, and I'm not in a rush because I have the truck.
Well,
exactly.
If there's anything I know about you, Lou, you're always worried about the gap.
Oh yeah. Or making one. Hey-oh. All right, so that's my car update. Duke, what did I hear? What did I hear last time? You got yourself a new vehicle?
Yeah. So I ended up, I don't remember where, we didn't even tell. Did I tell the story at all?
Nope. We talked about it offline. I don't even know why you got people. What happened to your other one? I don't even know.
People are asking. Is that the chatter and the?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, long story long, because I can't tell a short story. Even my short stories end up being long.
I wish my short story was longer.
I know, huh? It's all right. It's all right. It's my stories are unexpected.
Baby, horsefly.
It's been a few months now. My check engine light's been coming on and off. Took it into the dealership. Of course, the light went off as I pulled into the driveway, and they're like, "Oh, well, we don't know." I went, "Okay, whatever." Have just been dealing with it. I looked up what the error code was. I was able to get one of those little ODBC checkers, and of course, it was one of those it could be a sensor or it could be your engine.
Thanks for
it's
the help.
Either fine or you need a new car.
Yeah. And so I went to get my car smogged at DEQ, and they failed it, which was weird. But at least then they gave me a code. It was a very
right.
I finally was like, okay, cool. I know what's wrong. So before I left for EDC, I had an oil change plan because my plan originally was to drive my car to Reno, pick up the RV in Reno, and then go to Vegas. And so I took it in for the oil change. I said, here's the paperwork from DEQ, which is our Department of Environmental Quality, the people who do the smog checks here. And
that was Dairy Queen. I was like, that's cool. You can get a Blizzard and fucking smog change.
Blizzard and an oil change. But I am. And so they called me back later that day. They said, oh, your oil change is good. We fixed your kick skid plate. There was a plastic skid plate under the car that would constantly come loose, so just hang. And it was one of those things once you see it, you can't unsee it. Nobody else ever saw it. But I fucking knew, like, I would come out to my car and I'd be like, that motherfucker's hanging. And so they said, oh, yeah, we fixed that. And I went, okay, cool. And they said, oh, and that error code, we hooked it up to the machine, and you need a new transmission. And I'm like, cool.
Tranny.
In the interim, I looked up online and found out that there's actually like a mass action lawsuit, which I think is a step up from a class action lawsuit against Ford for that specific transmission. So something Allie should keep in mind is the cars that she's looking at, like, look up, make sure, because I think the Escape is from like 2012 all the way through now. They've been using the same transmission, which is a bad transmission. Okay. Also happy to share the information because since we both owned Escapes, we both potentially could be in for maybe a little bit of money at the end of the day. So I went, okay, cool. Like, well, how much is that going to be? And they said $8,500. I'm like,
fuck,
my car ain't even worth like $5.
Right?
My car ain't even worth $2 right now with a bad transmission. Like,
that is wild,
I'm gonna do cars for. I gotta go do cars for cops or whatever. The 1-800 cars for kids.
Cars for kids,
right?
KARS cars for kids.
And so I got it before I took my car in to get the oil change. I got that email saying your car is in high demand. You should trade it in. And I went, you know what? I'm gonna drive it over there and just see what they'll give me because. What's the worst that can happen? They say, we'll give you $1,500. And I say, fuck off. I'll get the transmission fixed and then have a car for a little while longer. Guy goes, oh, you get your service here? And I go, yeah. So he goes in the back and types up his stuff and comes back. And he's like, we'll give you $6,500 for it. And I went, okay, where's your used lot? Because I need to go get this done before you figure out what you just did. Because I'm not saying you done fucked up, but I'm saying you done fucked up. Because he's like, it's fine because I'll sell it on an auction I'll put it up on auction for your 11 and then I'll sell it for 9.5 and I'll still make money. I'm like, nope.
He's like,
so I went and I test drove some used cars and I was like, I was at the high end of you again, like you'll and you know this and will know this, but like the used car market's bullshit right now. It's so stupid. Like. I was looking at cars that were like 3 years old, like 2020, 2021s, and they're basically the same price as if I bought one new. And I test drove a couple the next day. Like I got a really good salesman. He was like, no pressure. He's just like, whatever, I'm here. Like, I'm here to just get out of the house. Like, I'm not like, I own my own dealership for like 35 years. And now my wife just wants me to get out of the house. So I decided to come and, so I don't like, whatever. Like, you're like you're the only person I'm working with right now, like,
gotcha.
And so I drove a couple. Star. Yeah, exactly. It was a little girl with just pasties and a G-string on, and that was my salesman, but she had a butterface. So it was, see, that was another callback. That was a callback, guys.
Duke saw her that this salesperson was like, no, I want water instead.
Yeah. And so I got home that night and I thought about it and I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna get something, I might as well just get the car that I always wanted. Like financially, I could probably like the difference between a $500 car payment and an $800 car payment is kind of like it's significant, but I'm also like, I mean, if I have an opportunity to get the car that I've always wanted, which my favorite car of all time was like the late 60s Bronco, but I'm never going to be able to afford a fully fixed up and ready to go old Bronco. And if I get one that's trash, I don't have the mechanical acumen to be able to fix it. So I was like, they came out with a new one about 4 years ago. I'm like, I'm not going to get a full on Bronco. I don't need the fucking roll cage. I don't need the
$12 one.
Yeah. So they have a Bronco Sport, which is a baby. They call it the baby Bronco or the Broncito, as I saw in one of my YouTube videos that I watched. And that might actually become its name. I might just call it the little Broncito.
Little Broncito is redundant. Broncito means little Bronco.
Well, yeah, but...
So you can't call it little Bronco.
It's a little
He's in Oregon, though. They don't have Mexicans up there. Nobody will know.
Oh, okay, you're fine. Little fine. Broncito it is.
Or you know what? We can workshop the name after the podcast. Okay.
Okay.
Broncito Grande.
There we go.
There we go.
The little Broncito, the Broncito that could. So I decided, and I ended up going with a Bronco Sport. So I got a 2024 Bronco Sport. Is
it white?
No. Sorry, not OJ color. It's blue. Sorry, guys.
Fail.
They don't actually have a white one. It's only bone white, which I was like,
oh.
It was an okay color, but it was like a dirty white, and I was like, do I want like a yeah. I already got my dirty white in my life. I don't need any more. He is excessively dirty white. Way too much for me.
And I bone white as well, so it makes sense.
See, I figured between the two of you, I had the dirty white covered. And so yeah. So no, I got a blue one. It's I got all the bells and whistles on it. It's very, very happy with it. Right. So
fancy. Remote
I was
start,
on
heated seats, cooled seats.
Yep, heated seats, remote start. Wheel. I hit a button on the remote and all the windows come down. I hit another button on the remote and all the windows go up. I'm like, yeah.
Why is that useful?
Cool off the car. If you're walking out to the parking lot, you can hit it and it'll lower the windows and then
let all the hot air out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Because the downside is it's black leather interior with brown accents, which is it actually came out really nice if you look at it. Like I didn't know if I was going to like it at first, but then when I saw how they did it, and I was like, okay, this is pretty legit. I'm okay with this. So,
well, you're not doing this with that 120-degree weather, so the leather suits aren't too terrible.
Yeah.
That sucked today.
I bet. Yeah.
My
it's the
mom
earliest we hit 111 or 110 since 2010. Yeah.
She was like, half an hour ago, she's like, it's 102 here. Oh, wait, never mind. We got a cold front. It's 101 now. I'm like, oh, thanks, Mom.
I just opened all the windows because it was cold as shit. I had to close them up because it was getting cold outside.
I can, with my car, I can, if somebody parks too close with the key fob, I can make it drive forward or backwards. In case my fat ass can't get in the car.
Shit. Oh, I like that.
Right?
Nice. My biggest complaint is that there's no ventilation on the wireless charger. And so I'll put it, it gets like the wireless phone charger gets super hot for whatever reason.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And so I'll put it on there and all of a sudden, I'll get these alerts on the infotainment screen saying, take your phone off, it's overheating. And I'm like, why couldn't you just cut a little, a vent, give it a vent from the air. So then at least there's air blowing over it. I don't know. To me, that was a simple fix.
Lou will come over and gap it for you.
There we go. Yeah. There we go.
You got the gap covered, buddy. No problem.
But see, you didn't get the white one, so
that's true.
He might
that's
not
true. He won't have a
black leather. Oh, never mind. We can be friends, though.
I'm glad that you and the Broncito can be friends.
Broncito Grande.
So there's I think that was the car update. So I just crossed 500 miles today. So
man,
that's a 10 in mine. I got mine in November, beginning of November. I got a new car.
You're at 10 grand.
10K already?
Yeah.
Well, I guess with the commute.
My work isn't close though.
Yeah, I was gonna say with the commute, 4 days a week minimum.
Yeah.
That adds up.
Hey, but at least you're doing it in style, my friend.
This is true.
Tucson hybrid.
And it's a hybrid, so you know.
You got that mileage.
Yeah.
Yep.
So wait, you could use zero gas then to get to work and back, right?
It depends. That thing's weird. If it's going uphill, it wants to use gas. But if I can get it to where it's just coasting, it'll switch over to the EV.
Oh, it does it automatically. Okay.
But yeah. I can't make it go EV. Not as far as I figured out, anyways.
As long as you can take off that lane assist, we're fine. Shit. Allie's rental car has that, and I drove it once already, and it was like, man, fucking cruise control, stop telling me. And then it does that whole slam the brakes when somebody cuts in front of you. It's like, no, they're going the same speed. It's fine. Stupid car.
But it wants to adjust the braking distance, so it's not following too close.
Oh, I know.
Still go the same speed, but
and I mean, you're saying they're going the same speed, but I'll tell you, dude, multiple times going to and from work for me, I'll have people cut in front of me and slam on their brakes for no fucking reason. They're not brake checking me; they're just fucking idiots. Like
that, I believe.
So I don't blame it.
A couple months ago, I learned that brake checking was actually illegal. I thought if you hit somebody from behind, it's always your fault, and they were like, no. If they didn't have a reason to
prove they brake
checking you, it's on them. I'm like, oh, good to know.
Better get that dash cam.
Freaking squirrel. What pops you have back there? Looks like Sabine.
Yeah, I think it's my autograph Sabine and my autograph Cosmo.
Okay. Like I see the Sabine. I couldn't see the pop, but the picture on the box, I'm like, oh, that looks like Sabine.
Yeah.
The other one, I had no idea what that was.
She's a good dog.
So y'all watch The Acolyte?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. I am all caught up.
I liked it.
Jack
it's a murder mystery with Star Wars. The costumes are good. The sets look fine to me. They didn't use the volume, so it all looks real at least.
Yeah. A lot more variety.
But like I was telling Lou before it came out, I just need to have characters that are interesting and decently written. And I found that. So
really?
I had no problems with it so far.
There's one, Soul. Who else is decently written?
All of them.
You thought all of them were decently written?
OSHA?
Wow.
OSHA?
Okay.
Why? What, how is she? Okay, hold on. Let's see what Duke thinks. Before Lou just destroys Star Wars.
You know what?
He needs to put on his Doomcock mask.
I've seen that once and I never ever want to see it again. I don't need to pay for therapy for months again to get that processed. Weirdly, it's less Doom and more cock, guys. Just so you know, you think because of his love for Darth Vader, it would be more Doom. Nope, it's 90% cock, 10% Doom.
Terrible.
Circumcised.
That's the weird thing.
It looks like a foreskin Poppendor.
Yeah, it's. But now because of the Acolyte, he's going to modify it. He's going to make it like Tongue Dude. And it's just going to fucking pop up and then whip around your neck and then pop your head off.
All I could think of was The Boys when I saw that scene. That was not a
I liked it too, but I think well, again, it was nice to have a Star Wars story that wasn't anchored in the original trilogy.
What we have now.
Right. Like I enjoyed the fact that it was something different, that it had a completely different set of characters. I'm interested to see what happens, because obviously, like, you have these 4 Jedi. Sorry, spoilers. I guess we should say spoilers, right?
Yeah, spoilers. Fuck it.
Hashtag
go back spoilers. And watch it. Pause the show. Go back and watch it.
The time they watch this, that's 5 days later. You can't be You can't be having that.
That's true. We're gonna get one comment from
tomorrow. By the time you watch this,
we're gonna have one comment from the 5 people that watch it going, "You guys didn't give me a heads up." We'll get some sort of complaint, but from the fucking 5 people that watch it, one person is gonna go, "You didn't see spoilers."
Damn you, Norway!
Spoilers.
I found the whole idea of the Jedi guilt being interesting, because we hadn't seen that a whole lot where it's like you have like these people, this group that is noble and is supposed to be the kind of the banner holders,
they're the guardians of peace in the Old Republic for over 1,000 generations.
Exactly. And so like they have this standard that they have to live up to, but obviously with the way the first 2 episodes went, at least this subset, this grouping of them, some shit went down that they all decided at some point, we're going to fuck this up. Like, when you got Trinity making bad decisions, you know that's going to be some dark shit. So I really hope by the end of the season that they really, or the end of, is this a limited season, or is it season 1, or is this a limited?
How it goes. I think it depends on how it goes.
It'll be one season after episode 3.
Allegedly.
Yes, allegedly.
But I mean, I enjoyed it. Again, I thought the lightsaber fights were good. The fighting was good. Especially the first scene was really good. I
didn't expect them to scream us though. I thought she was actually going to be in the show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, she was at the premiere and everything, and then 10 minutes in, you're like, oh, okay, I guess.
She's got a flashback scene still, so.
Oh yeah. They'll have a whole
true.
episode.
They got to go back to what happened.
Yeah. But they've already shown clips. They've already shown clips of a flashback scene with her, so she'll be in it again.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, what did they do that was so bad that Jedi killed himself? That blew me away.
Yeah,
because Jedi don't kill themselves. They're not samurai. They're not,
Yeah, he woke up and was like, "Oh, hey, yep, okay, yep, I fucked up. I'm out.
Nope, I got you."
So, I mean, that type of thing I find interesting. So I'm interested in the show. I think that, again, like Jack said, it was nice to not be in the volume. I think Andor kind of set that. Not that there's isn't a time and place for the volume, but I think.
But everything doesn't have to be done in the volume,
right? Like, I think if you're selective with the volume, it's way more effective than you needing to be in the volume the whole time. Right. Or creating the show around the volume. It shouldn't be we create the show around the volume. We go, okay, here's the show, whatever it is, right? Andor, Acolyte, whatever. And then you say, okay, I think that was one of the biggest problems with Ahsoka is that it felt like so much of the scenery, so many of the scenes, they were like, well, we have the volume and we have to use it. We have to justify the cost.
Right.
And so there was so many scenes where it was 2 or 3 people on a platform. At least I felt this way reflecting on it after it was done, that it was 2 or 3 people on a platform with a couple boxes and then background around them. And then they have a fight or they do whatever, but it's all in this constrained space. You don't see you didn't see in the first fight in the Acolyte where they're moving around the room and they're doing stuff. If you go back and watch Ahsoka, a ton of the fighting is very limited and very
localized.
2D, like you're watching Mortal Kombat, and they're just going back and forth.
When she fights the assassin droids, and she basically stands in one location the entire time while these assassin droids come out after her, and she doesn't move at all. But if you look at the background, they're in this giant temple location that she could be moving around and jumping and doing, Yoda shit, and she didn't do any of that. She just stood there and was like,
that, "Sir." She is a badass. She can stand there and just let them come to her.
But my point is, to me, it was obvious that she was being constrained by something other. Right. She wasn't utilizing the environment at all. And I felt with this show that there was a lot more of that. I wish they would have kind of maybe kept the twins thing a little bit longer, because I know for me, when she first woke up and I went, wait, is this like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing where
that would have been cool.
I that would have been, to me at least, if they would have teased that out a little more, I would have been, I think, way more interested in that. But for them to just immediately go, oh, she's got a twin. We haven't talked about that shit in 16 years, but now in 2 days, we've covered all of this ground. That, to me, I was like, I wish they would have stretched that out a little bit more.
I'm glad
that would have been kind of cool.
No, I'm glad they didn't, because that's not the story. The story isn't, this twin issue in that sense. Obviously, the issue is what happened 16 years ago.
Fair.
That's the issue. So to not drag that out, where it's it is obvious the hair length was different from one scene to the next, so it wasn't the same person. But I'm glad that was the case, because again, that's not the focal point of the story. So there is no spoiler, or here's this hidden you gave away the twist. I'm like, no. I'm sure there's a different twist that's going to happen later.
Right.
So I'm like, that part, I was like, oh, okay. We don't have to worry about, is this the same person? Is it not the same person? Is it, let's skip all that bullshit and go right to it.
Well, I guess with just 8 episodes, I guess, yeah. That'd be hard to do in 8 episodes.
So you can try to develop some kind of connection with the 2 different characters,
perspectives. Yeah,
I'll give you that.
Do that right away. I was like, I was fine with that. Soul, I thought, was a great character. But here, part of the problem that I have with it though is you're killing these 2 Jedi right off the bat. They wasted no time. You've got this another Mary Sue, where this not even Sith apprentice, because this person hasn't earned the right of apprentice, is going to defeat 2 masters. All right, fine. One of them, the guilt is real. Whatever the hell happened, like Jack said. The fact that this person offed himself, it was like, oh crap, something really bad happened. But
right.
But I have no connection to either character, whether it be Trinity or Torben. It's like, okay, great, they died. Do I care? No. I care about why. Don't get me wrong, as boring as this 2 episodes were, like I had to sit up for episode 2 just to make sure I didn't fall asleep because I was so damn bored. But I am curious, right? What is the issue with these Jedi? But that's really, there's not much more curiosity than that, which maybe is good. If that's the point of the story, what happened with these 4? Well, they've got me hooked. I want to know what happened and what these 4 did. I found the characters a little blah, except for the Padawans. The 2 Padawans, when they had their scenes, it was like, oh, they're actually basically following the order, the rule for the most part. Here's how it is. This is straightforward. Yord seems like he's trying to prove himself for whatever reason. We'll learn that, I'm sure. Soul actually has some soul, actually, of the show. I thought he was great. Zero complaints about, costume design, production, set. Holy crap. That took me back to the prequels. It looked great. I mean, they need to win Emmys for that type of set design that they're doing. But overall, I was sitting there watching this thing, and I'm like, oh, okay, great. Obviously, we don't know what happened 4 years ago, and the show, honestly, to me, it's not going to be that interesting until we know.
16. It's 16 years, right?
Yeah, 16 years. So whatever happened 16 years ago to the 4, that's where the 4 Jedi, that's where the 4 came from. It's like, I can't see myself getting too involved. Like, why should I care? You need to tell me that earlier, and then deal with. I'm more of that type of development, and then see like, oh, let's see how they're going to deal with this thing that happened. Instead, it's like something happened, and we're going to figure out what eventually. In the meantime, we want you to care about these characters, even though we can't let you empathize with these characters because we're going to tell you what happened. It's like, okay. This is. I told Jack this. I don't know if I remember I told you, Duke, or I told it in the group text. What this is definitely another one of those series for me that would have benefited from drop all 8 episodes at once. If I binge watch this, kind of like WandaVision, I hated WandaVision until like halfway through episode 4. It was like, okay, well, when are we going to get to something that's relevant? And then episode 4, it was relevant. It was like, holy shit! Then WandaVision was great after episode 4. And this one reminds me that it's like, okay, I watched it. I don't have many impressive things to say about it.
I wonder if that is a cultural thing, because we've gotten so used with Netflix, like binge watching.
Well, just streaming in general. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there.
Right, and they haven't adjusted their filming, their storytelling to serialized, weekly. So I wonder if that's what it is. They're like, yep. So I have this grand vision for these 8 episodes, and it's a great story. It's fucking awesome. But then Disney's like, you can have a weekly. So now you're not filming it or writing it that way.
No, totally. What it looks like they're doing is we're going to make a 5-hour movie and cut it up into 8 parts instead of making 8 episodes that become
that go together.
Movie. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that could be very well that simple, because I have a feeling, minus any rumored woke bullshit that's going to happen in the next couple of weeks, I have a feeling it's going to be fine and it's going to play out fine by the time we get through it all. But watching it this way, it was like, okay, that's great. 37 minutes and 34 minutes, whatever the hell it was, the 2 episodes each. And it was like, all right. But I seriously was really bored with it. It was like, okay, here's the weird part. Super bored with it, but also super interested. Like, what the hell? Right. I want to know. I'm badly, like, tell me what happened. And then, especially Soul, if Soul comes out as a character, I don't see him as somebody who would have offed himself the way Torben did. But obviously it was bad enough that he did not question it. So something's going on, and
he put himself in that trance too for however many years, and he hasn't talked to him.
I think it's 10 years. I think in the episode they talked 10 years, right? Nobody's talked to him in 10 years.
He's like, "Yep, give me that poison. I'm out."
whatever that Val was called, the one from that Vader comic that he did. But yeah, so obviously there's a lot going on there. It was interesting. I tell you, the only real interesting thing that I found about the twins was that neither one knew the other was alive. That I wasn't expecting to. When they were like, OSHA didn't know May was alive. Okay, great. But when it was like May didn't know OSHA was alive, I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, because where's she been? Has she been with that Sith dude this whole time, like training?
Right.
So maybe she just don't be knowing.
And is that Sith dude Plagueis or Plagueis's? Does Plagueis become his apprentice? The timeline could
be. It would work.
So I'm like, ooh, this is neat. So if they make some kind of connection there, I'd be appreciative of that. That was super cool.
So your problem with the show isn't anything with the show. It's that
the pacing.
They made the 8-hour movie, and they only give you 2 parts of it.
I think that.
I can accept that.
Duke's exact word. I think that's spot on. Pacing was just like I didn't think the writing was great. Didn't think it was bad though. I was like, all right. I didn't.
But in Star Wars, we've never had great writing in Star Wars.
Exactly. There was only one cringe woke moment, and that was the mother's comment. But that may make sense if we learn it. You could force it to make sense. I still say the word parent. You don't need to say my mother's. You can just say my parents, and your parents happen to be mothers. And nobody in the real world says that. Nobody says my mother's or my father's. They say my parents. Even if you
like I said, if it ends up like the Night Sisters, where it's a female population, society. Mothers is the word they use. It's not parents. It's just these are my mothers because we're all females. So why use parents instead of mothers?
Well, why use mothers? Because parents would imply that they're females. I mean, parents would imply that it's the 2 people that raise them. Mothers signifies women.
But I also think I think that's
you're stating the obvious. It's like, oh, my mother's. Well, no shit, they're mothers on this planet. They're all females, so of course they're mothers. So they're your parent. Versus,
but I think it's
this woman over here is not my mother. This woman over here is not my mother. These 2 together are my mothers. That makes them my parents. So that's, again, if I'm going to nitpick a woke thing, that's it. And honestly, it wasn't that big of a deal, especially since it might culturally play out that it should be mothers.
Right.
So we'll see.
That's what I was going to say. Is that it could be a societal thing, right?
Yeah,
that maybe the word parents doesn't exist in their
exactly.
And so
Well, I'll give it a chance, right? It's like okay, and let's be real. Considering who the director is, considering the cast, considering all this shit, that's the only quote unquote woke thing, and that's a reach in my opinion. Even I know that's a reach to think that's a woke thing. I don't have a problem. Like I've seen some reviews. Oh my god, it's so woke. I'm like, tell me how. Tell me how these 2 episodes were woke. You cannot do it.
Yeah, there was nothing wrong with these 2 episodes. Again, like you said, the way it's cut, where not enough happens because it's all introduction stuff.
Yeah,
it's the first 2 hours of an 8-hour movie. So,
that's
we're still learning stuff.
Yeah,
that's the hard part is that you're introducing this whole new generation of Star Wars that if you haven't read the novels and you haven't read the comics, I haven't read any of the novels or comics. So to be honest with you, some of that exposition was helpful for me to kind of get my head right, like get my head in that. And so I think that's part of the problem. But to your point about the timing and everything, I wonder if because Disney Plus doesn't have that much coming out in the next 6 months to a year, that it was originally going to be a drop, but then they went, oh shit, we have to buffer this out. So let's put the first 2 episodes together because it totally wouldn't make sense if we did one. And I think that's also been their MO is to release 2 or 3 episodes.
They've been doing
to start
2
with,
at a time.
and then and so I think that to me, we can have a conversation after the series is over, but it would not surprise me if you got WandaVision, Blue. I wouldn't be surprised if the next episode or the episode after you went, okay, like now we're here. I got it. Like, let's go.
And hoping. I'll tell you right now, that is what I'm hoping. I know the rumors and the speculation about how episode 3 is going to be horrible for the quote unquote pre-Disney Star Wars fans. I've heard all the rumors. I know what's alleged to happen. or people are alleging is going to happen. And I mean, it's like, I don't even know if it's alleged anymore. These people saw these media people saw the 4 episodes, so they know what's up.
It's interesting. They gave them the 4 episodes. They only gave us 2. So, like, what's in those other 2 episodes? That's forming. But I've heard people that saw all 4, and they're like, "Yep, this is fucking Star Wars. It's amazing." Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
It would matter to me who those people who said yes, this is Star Wars, that's amazing are. If it's woke writers, then I'm like,
chills.
I don't even think it has to be woke writers. I think it has to be. My concern is the people that are being positive about it are the people that are benefiting the most from the free clicks. Part of being from being a influencer, right? Because there is a whole niche market on. I guess not really niche anymore, but there's a whole segment on YouTube and online podcasts and stuff that is everything Disney does, everything Star Wars does, everything Marvel does is always good and always right, because then why bite the hand that feeds you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, because every single thing that you post is going to get a ton of views, and guess what? You're benefiting from it. You're getting to go to the premieres. You're getting to get on Disney cruises and get flown to different parks for free and do reviews and that type of thing.
Right? Sign up for this because
the ranch.
We're about to chill. Fuck you, Lou. I will with the little sock puppet up. I'm going on a Disney cruise with the fucking Acolyte cast.
Lou is all of a sudden going to become the keeps guy from Screen Crush. Hey guys, I'm losing my hair.
Yep. Have a rubber band in my mouth.
I'm sure Allie would not complain about that.
Nope, at all.
Extra vibrations.
But yeah, I mean, your point is made. I mean, Rotten Tomatoes, it has what, a 93% critic review, 71% for like verified critics or whatever. But the user is at 34%. The user critics.
You can't say those aren't review bombs though. Because that was down there.
See, no, there's no. You can't talk about review bombs unless you talk about 5-star review bombs as well. So it goes both ways.
Right. So any review that was put on there by users before the premiere should be invalid.
Wrong, because some people saw it a couple days before at the theater.
And that's fine, but anything before that should be invalid.
Okay.
So I wonder if they're taking that.
Anything before the theater show on Sunday or whatever it was, anything before Sunday, positive or negative, should be removed. But once they came out in the theater on Sunday, those reviews should be valid.
But I think with the caveat that, but again, I'm of the opinion that Rotten Tomatoes is completely fucking broken, and for the most part, is kind of useless.
It's not even good.
But all the reviews have
right. And so, but I feel like those types of sites. Well, except for Letterboxd doesn't give you a score. Letterboxd will just give you the reviews. Like, at least I don't think it has a score. But to me, there needs to be an engagement factor before I feel like your reviews should be included in the scoring. So
what does that mean? Engagement factor.
So if my little cabal of anti-woke, whatever, or woke, Disney. Whichever, right? The anti-Disney, pro-Disney, right? I'll just say that, not even me. So you have your group of people who hate Disney and everything Disney stands for and everything Disney releases. And then you have the group that loves Disney and whatever Disney does is the best thing in the world, regardless of the actual quality, right? Every single time something new comes out, those guys go and they create, I have 50 emails, so I'm going to go create 50 accounts. And then I'm going to go and just review bomb this particular whatever it is, right? And I'm stepping back from it being Acolyte or whatever, because I think this is a pervasive problem. This is a pervasive problem across the board for a lot of this stuff. If it's your first review, I'm fine with them publishing it, but it shouldn't influence the number. If it's my 5th review or my 10th review, whatever criteria you set, then it gets included in the percentages. To me, that would help prevent this review bombing from happening, positive or negative, and it would make it more. So then that account at least has been around a while and has some sort of pattern, right? I can go and click on Jack's name and I can go see, oh, look, he shits on everything that's Disney. So I
can dismiss his opinion on this.
Right. Or, oh, look, he has one account and this account is brand new. He just created it 4 days ago or 2 weeks ago. And he has one review that shits on it or is positive about it. Again, I'm going to dismiss it. And it shouldn't be part of I'm fine with it being on the page, right? If I click on show me the list of reviews, but it shouldn't apply to the calculation because that would, to me, that would remove the review bombing, at least from being as damaging as it is, right? To where you get these polarized numbers of 97% authorized critic review versus 18%. That doesn't make my brain can't wrap around that, right?
Here's the problem that I have with that, though. I mean, first of all, I like that concept, but that's really not my concern. Is the way it's presented, the way it's argued. Anytime something gets destroyed, it's review bombed. Anytime something is good, it's not review praised. Why is it only ever the hypocrisy is what drives me crazy?
Okay, that's fair.
I was reading some of the reviews, and there was a guy who was bitching about the show isn't even out yet, and they gave it a 1 star. Okay, that same guy gave it a 5 star. So how are you bitching about the review bomb, but not bitching about review praising? And that happens all the way around. Go back to the Marvels, go back to Captain Marvel, go back to any show, any movie. You've got your Disney shills. Like you said, they're going to just suck your dick on everything. But don't be a fucking hypocrite. Do not say white males are review bombing this. I'm like, yeah, and the alphabets are review praising it. It goes both ways. So for me, throw out the 5s, throw out the 1s, because and that's the problem, right? Although some of those 5s could be legit for your perspective and those 1s could be legit from your perspective, I can't trust either one of you fuckers. I find I'll go look at the 2s and the 4s to see what's really going on. But it's the hypocrisy that drives me crazy. Do not come at me. This is if you look at an article, you're doing whatever in the next couple of weeks, next 6 weeks for this show. This is being review bombed. I'm like, go look at the 5 stars and tell me that's not being praise bombed either. Just don't be a hypocrite. That's all I'm saying. Just give me both. Do not. It's like Fox News versus CNN. Obviously, they lean their directions. But at least I notice on Fox News, they will dog some Republican people every once in a while. CNN, they won't dog any Democrats. It's like, come on, people. Don't be hypocrites. Dog everybody. They all deserve to be fucked up and fucked over. Yep. So be consistent.
That's why I don't read reviews. Like with Star Wars, I don't read the reviews. With video games, I don't read the reviews. Yeah. Like Duke gave me shit for Suicide Squad. I'm like, no, I want to play it. So I'm going to buy it. I'm going to play it. I don't care about the reviews. I form my own opinions.
You know, it's funny you say that because I kind of the same, but kind of not, because I want to see the reviews. And honestly, it goes back to Duke's point. It helps me determine whether or not I trust that person for what I like. It's like if I'm gonna watch a movie, like just I don't know, go back 10 years. Hey Jack, did you see this movie? Yeah, it was man, or holy shit, this was good. Then I can trust Jack's opinion. Duke, if you went and saw a movie for the most part, there's going to be some that we're going to disagree on just because of the actors or whatever. But at least I know, it's like, well, Duke's intelligent, and I know.
Oh, thanks, man.
You know what I mean? I can trust that opinion. But if I go and look at some reviews like, hey, this person, it's like, oh my God, this person wrote an article again. Okay, I already know I don't have the same opinion of that person, so I'm not going to, I'm happy to read your review, and then I'm happy to go watch it myself. Be like, oh, you know what? That person was right. Obviously, right is being used very loosely when it comes to reviews. But I'm happy to look at that and come up with a base so I know, oh, what did Jack think about this? What did Duke think about this? What did this particular writer think about this? Because usually when they like something, I will like the same thing. So I kind of like the reviews for that, but I'm with you.
Right. That would have to be something that like I'm not interested in, though. Or I'm like, I'm on the fence. But like if you tell me there's a new Harley Quinn movie coming out, I'm fucking there. I don't care. I'll be there day one after watching one trailer. You tell me Star Wars is coming out. I'm watching it as soon as it drops.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So that only works for me for something I'm like, maybe. I'll look at the reviews first.
Yeah.
Like if there's a game coming out, I'm like, well, that looks cool, but I'll read a couple of reviews before I buy it.
Well, and I think I mentioned this last week afterwards, and again, we're already at an hour, so this might be down the road, but I would be curious if you can. I would like to have a conversation with you guys about separating your fandom from the actual, like, how you actually feel about it, right? Like you go
that conversation right now. Jack has trouble with that as a Star Wars fan. If it's Star Wars, feed him. He don't care.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing. I'm close.
I can still criticize it though. So, like, if I watched something like, that wasn't that great. Like Resistance, I didn't think it was that great. Did I watch it all? Yes. So, but I didn't think it was that great. It was a struggle to get through. A couple of the novels they put out, it was a struggle to read.
Chuck Wendig, oof.
Yeah, his books, that trilogy he put out, it was a struggle to read. But a lot of stuff came out of those novels. Cobb Vanth came out of that. There were a couple other characters that came out of those. I just don't think he was a great writer. It was very Family Guy kind of, and like, oh well, what about when this happened? Oh, this is like when that happened, and he wrote in incomplete sentences. So I pushed through it because, again, it's Star Wars, and at the time there wasn't anything else coming out. We were waiting for the movies to come out when those books were coming out. So, but I didn't like them. I would not recommend anybody read those books. That's how
bad they were, right? Yeah. See, for me, I and Alec could probably attest to this. You guys might know me well enough as well. I can compartmentalize very easily. So for me, I can put on my Star Wars fan hat, and then I can put on my critic hat and argue two opposite points based off of how I'm looking at it. So as a Star Wars fan, I didn't mind the Acolyte at all. Honestly, it was like, all right, I'm okay. I'm curious. I don't have this. Ooh, I can't wait till next week. Other than because of the rumors that are coming out. That my excitement is because I want to see how true the rumors are, not because great. I'm like, no, I can wait to get the rest of the story. Not like Andor. I wanted the next week. Give me the next thing on Andor.
Right.
But with this, not so much. But as a Star Wars fan, I did enjoy what I saw as a Star Wars fan. As a critic hat, I'm all like, wow, this is, now I'll use the word, this is paced very slowly.
Right.
I am struggling to stay awake, which had never happened before in a Star Wars anything, ever struggling to be awake.
A Star War.
Yeah, it was like, okay, great. So to the question, Duke, and like how, different perspectives and different hats you put on, I absolutely usually do both. I will watch it one time with the critic hat and watch it one time with the fan hat. And luckily, and especially for Star Wars, the fan hat almost always wins. Almost always. I can't think of it.
And as far as I
Solo
go,
for you, because when you first watched Solo, you watched it with your critic hat.
I was pissed. Oof. Remember that?
When you went back and watched it, you're like, it's not that bad.
Exactly. First, you're right. Because at the theater, it was like 6 of us, 7 of us went. I was livid. I was pissed. I made a point. I stood up in the theater. I was like, oh my God, that was horrible. And then I waited a couple of months, went back and watched it again. I was like, as a Star Wars fan now, it was like, okay, yeah, I like this movie. So like I can watch it now and not have any problems. But first showing, I was livid.
I think I was
maybe
probably...
Duke needs to watch Skywalker again.
Oh, I can't. Seriously, I have it downloaded. I have looked for like fan edits that like improve it or whatever, and I
take
can't
out the black people.
Yeah, get rid of fucking Finn. Fuck that guy. His whiny ass. I just want a supercut of him just saying Ray for 45 fucking minutes, and then we'll. But no, like it was. I feel like I maybe up until Rise of Skywalker probably gave Star Wars too much grace, but Rise of Skywalker to me was really my hat moment, right? Where all of a sudden I was like, wait a second, like I can't enjoy. I'm not enjoying this at all. Like, it was 2.5 hours of me just not. I was trying, right? Again, I had tissues up the sleeve. I was like, before the show, like, I had to go for a walk. Like, my group of friends that I saw it with, like, I got like super overwhelmed to where like I had to go walk around the outside of the mall before the movie because I was just like, I couldn't even handle like the anticipation was so, I mean, it was so much to me. It was like so much more. It was so much higher than even for episode 1 for me, at least, that then going into the theater and watching it and going like, what is like, what's going on right now? And then, and then afterwards, you know, we all go outside, everybody pees, and then you all go out and we have like a 5-minute conversation about the movie, and people are like, whoa, what'd you think? And I was like, it was one of the first times that I could remember with Star Wars, something Star Wars that people had asked me about that I couldn't like, I had to be like, it was hard for me to be critical. It was hard for me to say, I feel like my childhood was taken out back and shot in the head. Like, I don't, you know, again, that was dramatic at the time, but people were asking me and I'm like, I don't know how to respond. Like, I need to process what we just watched, you know? And so I think from then it's been a lot easier for me to not always be on the fan bandwagon all the time and suckle at the teeth the whole time. I mean, I'll give you an example. So I saw Furiosa on Tuesday. My friend was like, hey, I haven't seen it yet. Have you seen it? I said, no, we went and watched it. And I love that. I loved Fury Road. I love the Mad Max universe, right? The idea, and all of that stuff was fantastic. And Chris Hemsworth, I thought, was great in the movie. But it was a much, much different movie than Fury Road. And so if you're expecting to go into the movie and expecting it to be balls to the wall action the entire time, you're going to come out very, very disappointed. And so I think, to me, I kind of expected maybe a little bit more action, a little bit more set pieces and that type of thing. And that didn't really happen kind of until like the end, the last third of the movie. Right. Yeah. And there was a lot of, have you guys seen it?
No.
I'll
wait for streaming on that one.
But there was a lot more. There was a lot more story, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But I also
to know that you're getting story, so you don't have expectations of.
And again, we have a half a dozen movies where it's been a while since I've seen The Road Warrior or the original Mad Max, but you know, movies were also much different back then. You know, 30, 40 years ago. The way movies were created and how they were written was, you know, budgets were much smaller. You couldn't have a movie that like Fury Road come out 40 years ago and have it be success. Like you had to cover up more of your action with conversations because that was what you could afford. You could afford to have the actors be on set for 2 more hours, but you can only blow up that car one time. You know, like, we only have one car. And so to me, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't necessarily, if you're looking for Fury Road, you're going to be disappointed. And Anya Taylor-Joy did as good of job as she could have as Furiosa, but that character is Charlize. And that to me was hard. Like, because I think there's conversations about them doing a Mad Max prequel as well, like a Max prequel, and I was having the conversation. Well, after
just Max,
yeah,
just Max,
just Max. That's the name is Just Max, and then I'll have the Nike logo on it.
Not quite Mad Max,
not slightly annoyed Max. Mildly upset Max.
Cranky Max.
I'd probably watch that just off the title.
But that'd be Pete Davidson, though.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We have the conversation of, do you recast Tom Hardy? And I go, well, you've already recast him, so I don't feel like there's that identification as much as there was with Furiosa. Oh, yeah. Like when you already have Mel Gibson, you go to Tom Hardy isn't. Tom Hardy's Venom.
He is not Mad Max. If you say Mad Max, it's Mel. 100%.
Yeah. Right. But So if they bring in somebody else to do the prequel, they bring in like a younger actor. I don't think that's going to be as much as jarring as Furiosa is. Well, and again, Anya Taylor-Joy, for as attractive and stuff as she is, she's also very waif-like, and you can't put. My friend made the comment of, it's like when you see Natalie Portman and then you see Natalie Portman in Thor: Love and Thunder. That didn't happen in Furiosa, where you see Natalie Portman and all of a sudden she's like, oh, the fucking gun show's that way, and you're like, whoa, hey, where did this Natalie Portman come from? Because I have never seen this one before. Like, she's always very slender, very skinny, very, not that that's a bad thing. It's just her stature. And that, I think, there were a few scenes in Furiosa that you could tell that it would have, somebody with more, being able to fill out more would have improved those scenes, if that makes sense. So, all
right,
there's my I think 5-minute review of Furiosa.
I think the reason I don't get like that is I don't really go in expecting much. No, you don't expect anything, you're not disappointed. So I just go into a movie just based on what the trailers show me and entertain me for an hour and a half or 2 hours. I'm not like Rise of Skywalker. I'm like, oh my God, it's the last movie ever. It's going to change my life. It's cool. It's more Star Wars. Disney owns Star Wars. This is not the last we'll see of Star Wars.
Right.
Obviously. So I'm just like, cool. Entertain me for 2 hours. Give me some lightsabers and some drama. I'm good. So I think I just don't expect much. So I'm not as offended when it doesn't live up to
your
lack of expectations, I guess.
Yeah, your preconceived expectation.
Yeah, I try to not blow it up in my head too much. I'm like, you know what? Entertain me. I don't need life-changing movies. I just entertain me for a little bit.
Okay. That being said, can you do that with Deadpool and Wolverine? Or do you have expectations?
That one, I'm just expecting a good Marvel movie. It's going to be funny. Shit, they already have 20 F-bombs in just the trailers. So that one, I'm excited to see it, but I don't have expectations. Are Deadpool and Wolverine going to make fun of each other? Okay, do that for 2.5 hours, and I will say this is a fucking awesome movie. That's all I expect out of it.
Okay.
I'm not expecting this to change the MCU. I just expect it to be funny. They obviously go through some Doctor Strange portals. Somebody said that Captain America shows up. Cool, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't.
Yeah, I heard they show up at the big battle at the end of Endgame.
Yeah, exactly. But who knows? Ain't nobody seen it yet. Yeah, but if they don't do it, I don't care. I'm not expecting that. They don't have to show up and be like, "Oh, look, there's Iron Man," snapping his fucking fingers.
I don't mean necessarily.
Just entertain me, make fun of each other.
That's what I'm getting at. I don't expect you to have expectations of how this is going to affect the Marvel Universe. My question is, do you have expectations that it's going to be a good movie?
Yes. Now, somehow they fuck it up.
Then
that's going to suck. Yeah.
Okay,
so,
right.
but
that's
I don't
what I was getting at.
think
I'm not worried about the details of the movie. I just expect it to be a good movie.
So I guess my question then, Jack, when was the last time were you disappointed by something?
That's a great question.
Like a movie I watched and I was like,
a movie or TV show or video, any media, right?
Anything video game, yeah.
Yeah, anything that you hit the button and watched it, and at the end of it you went, "Damn." Yeah, you pulled a Ron Simmons.
I'd have to think about it. I don't, because if I didn't like it, I'll just erase it. Okay, cool. It's not neither here nor there. It's like my job. I can go to work. I can deal with some fucked up shit. As soon as I hit my car, it's out of sight, out of mind.
The man showed up. The man's like, "You ain't talking about us."
Movies, TV shows, anything that I'm not down with.
You're not doing it. Try to bring up work.
Internet connection.
We are responding to Facebook, buddy.
We already called you out once for your social media posts.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, your internet just
yeah, it did.
Your internet just went tits up,
frozen while I'm going on my rants.
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. I'll think about it and I'll let you know if I'll like go back and like video games, something. I don't know. I'll go through my achievement list and see what it says. I'm like, nope, I wish I never played that one.
Which 100% are you most disappointed that you actually have in your
right?
All right.
So we have.
Hang on, because I forgot to bring this up with the Acolyte. I'm curious that you guys' opinion on May being able to beat whatever her name was, Aranda or something, Trinity, and Soul, and the 2 Jedi that were with Soul. I just thought that was bullshit. You have the Trinity fight. So you're telling me that Jedi have droids in this prequel trilogy that we saw, and stormtroopers in the original trilogy. Everybody's shooting at them, and the Jedi can manage 14 different blaster shots coming around them, but a Jedi Master Trinity couldn't manage 2 knives at once. Is that what you're telling me?
One, she wasn't expecting it. Because she didn't know what Homegirl wanted.
You're a Jedi. You just anticipate. Well, first of all,
okay, when you're surrounded by droids, you're expecting them all to shoot you, just like when Anakin was training Ahsoka. He's like, here, everybody's surrounding you. You don't know how the Force works. You're not a fucking Jedi.
Lou, you missed it. On that dagger, it said the Spanish Inquisition, because nobody's ever expecting the Spanish Inquisition.
Man, I'm going to steal that shit. That's good.
Yes.
But see, I think she was just focused on saving homeboys, so she wasn't expecting the other knife.
No, that's not how it works. Anakin could run a pod racer, because why? He could anticipate and all that. You have an idea of what's coming. And you're telling me a Jedi Master couldn't do both of those things? Is that what you're telling me?
She didn't know how many knives she had. She just cut up like 20 knives that she threw at her. So how many more knives does she have?
Don't matter. It could be 1 extra, 2 extra, or 20 extra. You're a Jedi Master, and you're telling me you can't manage that. Okay, we'll get back to this, because here's the second one. So in very first Star Wars you ever watched, halfway through it, Luke puts on a helmet, and what does Obi-Wan say? Your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them.
Mm-hmm. They actually said that in the first episode.
Right, and they said it in another episode too of one other show recently. I can't remember which was, Ahsoka or whatever. They did that there too. So you're telling me when May puts up the dust cloud, you can't see, even though you've been trained not to.
Oh, that one was stupid. Yeah, no, that I thought she was going to go on the ground. If she had like sunk into the ground, I'd be like, okay, cool, that was a good escape. But when it was just a dust cloud, I was like, no, that's not cool.
Okay, and then
you see her go.
That would have been badass, though. I'll give you that. That would have been cool. Right? But here's the thing: that same fight, Soul, on 2 different occasions in the episode, whether it be the first and second, first episode, then second episode, Osha, he has her out using the Force, laid out when she falls off the cliff, and then May, during the fight, has her laid out using the Force. Dude, you've already caught her. Put the cuffs on her, move on. What are you doing? It's dumb shit like that happened in Obi-Wan. It's like, oh, we're gonna hide Leia inside a trench coat. Are you fucking kidding me? So
but these Jedi are very cocky. These Jedi have never had anything bad happen to them, ever. So they think that they can handle everything without. That's why they fight without their lightsabers. Who's going to go up against a lightsaber? Nobody else has a fucking lightsaber. So that's why they have all this kung fu fighting bullshit.
But they know she's formidable. She killed 2 Jedi Masters. So
he thinks he can reach out to her better nature.
You can reach out to her after she's cuffed. You had her stop, cuff her, then talk to her.
Cuffing people makes them mad.
Yeah, if anybody on this podcast knows that.
I've only been cuffed. Well, it doesn't matter how many times I've been cuffed.
Motherfucker, if you have to think about it too many times.
No. We're talking about by law enforcement, not by Allie. That's completely different.
Oh, in that case, just twice.
I honestly think that that Trinity let herself, that was her. I think she got to the point of realizing that again, the second Jedi, when he came out of his trance, he just looked at her, realized, oh shit, I have all that guilt. I have all that. I think Trinity, and my takeaway from it was Trinity was like, I'm going to sacrifice myself to save that person. Right. I think in her head, she knew that eventually something was going to happen that she wasn't going to end up being out on top of the fight. And
Did she move her braids and know it was May before or after she got stabbed?
Before. She moved it.
So she already knew it was May.
She tried to move the braids, and she did it herself. And she was like, "You're not touching me," and she flung her hair to show the tattoo.
Right. So she knew it was May before she got stabbed.
Yes.
So maybe it is like Duke said. She's like, well, I'm dead either way, so I can save the bartender or I can save myself.
And again, the part of it is that whatever these guys did, obviously that guilt finally started to affect her. I'm sure Trinity, I bet during the flashback, Trinity is going to be the noble one, the one that is what we're doing was right. You guys shouldn't be questioning this. But there's always that seed in the back of your brain that's going to eat away at your, it's had 16 years to sit there and grow. That when the devil comes due, when the bill comes due, and the devil shows up at the door, like that's how I took it, right? Especially after watching the second episode. Again, I think if they would have left that first episode by itself, people would have been super confused about what was going on. After watching the second one and reflecting on it, I go, okay, cool. Obviously, these guys, both Trinity and Corbin, were like, yeah, we fucked up. We did some shit. Like, and so to me, that's how I took it, was that Trinity was sacrificing herself to save the bartender and the bartender's kid, because I'm sure she knew that the kid was there, right? They didn't reveal the kid to us, but I'm sure she felt that. Yeah,
you can't sit here and say you knew she felt that, and also say she was distracted and she didn't know.
No. I'm not saying she was distracted. I didn't know.
No. About the part about she wasn't expecting the second dagger. I'm like,
no, that's not what Duke's saying. I said she didn't expect it.
To know
Duke said she let it happen.
Oh,
Duke saying she let it happen.
That was my opinion, was that saving the bartender was her final kind of like, okay, I like, again, because there's Jedi that can look forward in time, right? Doctor Strange, that shit, right? And so my 2 cents after watching both episodes, and again, I would have been more confused had there just been one. But then seeing this scene with Torben and how that happened, when I look back on that first episode, I think Trinity went into that fight knowing that she wasn't going to survive the fight. That something was going to happen.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're just complete opposite. Because, like, again, we don't know the guilt, and that might be true. That's just not how I saw it yet. It's like, why would you? Torben had some other shit going on that was pretty serious, obviously, because he didn't even say
started the fire.
His
one started the fire is what he did.
Right, it's not May, he did it himself. That would be wild.
Mm-hmm.
I think all four, and again, don't know about the Wookiee. I mean, he's been in one scene. Or they've been in one scene. I'm guessing, I think at some point they refer to him as male. Or him, right? They say him.
It's Leslie.
Or is it nebulous right now? But my point is that we've seen this guilt,
gay Wookiees,
that all four of them have, right? And how they are manifesting it, right? You have a person that just goes into a trance, so they don't have to think about it. They're compartmentalizing. They're separating them, and this is the only way he knows how to do that, is by going into a trance and not being one with the Force, right?
6 years later, I guess.
Well, and then you have Saul, who obviously has guilt, right? He has tons of guilt about May, and tons of guilt about Osha. And then you have
inconsistent too. 1 minute he's like, "No, I saw her die," and the next minute, "Oh, it could be her." I was like, "Yeah, she has a twin. I believe you." Like, what?
But then you have Trinity, who is like, no, this was the right thing. I mean, that's all different aspects of how people process guilt, right? And so that was my takeaway from the first fight, was that she knew in her head somewhere that once she realized it was May, she was like, shit, like the past is coming back to collect.
You're allowed to kill. I'll let you kill me.
Not even let. I think it was that she came to the realization.
Master, it had to be let. There's no other option.
But I think that if it wouldn't have been that, there would have been something else that would have happened, right? And again, Jedi Master or not, guilt is guilt, right? Guilt is guilt is universal, regardless of what you're.
That, but I'm talking about skill set. Skill set. There is zero chance May beats Indara. Zero chance. So she had to let her win.
Right, and that was the guilt. Right, to me, that was where the guilt came in. The guilt in her head was enough of a distraction, either a distraction or a reality. Right, like that Indara. Right, Indara. Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
Wait. That when she realized that it was May, that changed things, right? Because again, she didn't know it was May until, and so I think in my head, reflecting on that now is after, and again, first episode by itself, I would have been like, what the fuck? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But then after seeing what happened to Torben, and I go, okay, in my head, I can justify what happened in the fight because obviously we're dealing with a group of 4 people who all did something really fucked up. And again, we can revisit this at the end of the season. I think that's probably, when we have a much better picture of the magnitude, right?
After we watched our 8-hour movie.
Yeah. Well, that's my thing, though. It's like, as long as that is again, I'm basically making fun of the writing. As long as that is what happened, I'm fine with that. There is zero chance May wins that battle if Indara wants to win. There is zero. It goes to the Soul thing. It's like there is zero chance Soul loses that battle. He had her contained. Put cuffs on her when she's all laid out flat. What is hard about?
What if he thinks that too? He's like, well, she can't beat me, so why cuff her? Because if she runs, I'll just get her again. Which obviously he didn't.
That's just dumb.
But that's what I'm saying. Jedi of this era are very cocky. I have read the books and the comics.
Other Force users in the novels and the comics, they had that battle with them. They had that battle with that race, the species that like turns off their Jedi powers or Force powers, whatever the hell that was. They had conflict.
But Yuzan Vong,
nothing like that though. Yeah, well, Yuzan Vong don't exist anymore.
Not really.
Yet.
Yeah,
Not yet.
Sure, the way Disney is bringing back all the shit. The next trilogy with Rey will probably have them since they keep bringing back all the expanded universe shit that they wiped out.
They need to bring Dash Rendar back first, though.
I'm sure we've. Yeah, I guarantee you, we have seen Dash Rendar at some point in the background of some scene.
Right. No joke.
Maybe that's how Homer got Luke's lightsaber. Since we still haven't been told that story.
There's a story we need too. Shit. Damn. Okay, time to shorten this up. I don't think I have any white people shit for y'all. Did I do any white people shit this week? I don't think I did. You were gone most of the
Allie's like, me?
She's like, other than her.
Me? White people shit.
No anal this time, so no white people shit.
All right. It's good that since the accident, you've let her rest.
Right, exactly. She was the one more damaged than me, so she needed it. What about you guys? You guys do any white people shit or anything exciting?
I've gone to the chiropractor twice.
Shit.
Oh, shit.
Dang.
That's because you bought Bronquito.
That's old people shit.
Grande.
Yeah, that's old people. I am old people shit.
Is old people shit.
What did I do last week?
You went to a play.
No, we did.
No, that was 2 weeks ago.
This weekend. This weekend we're going to see Girl from Old Country. Yeah.
Is that like a?
It's
like a sex switched like Country for Old Men. It's a lady who walks around with a canister.
No, it's on the tip of my tongue.
If it was, it'd be Disney. So,
right? It's a Bob Dylan play.
Man, okay.
So it's gonna be like Bob Dylan music. Yeah.
Wow.
So you can understand.
You're going to it, but I think Luke can claim it as white people shit because it really doesn't get much more white people shit than a Bob Dylan musical play.
Dude, for real, man. Wow. How am I not going to that?
Right? You want to come?
Yeah, for real. I was like, that sounds like my jam. Like I said, it's Bob Dylan, so you need subtitles, but whatever.
No, otherwise, shit. No, we didn't do nothing last week. It was still cleaning up my mother-in-law's house, but that's done. Signed the paperwork this evening. So
congrats on that sale.
That shit is done. My wife's not super happy about it, but
of course not. There's sentimental value there.
There's good and bad with it. It's more good than bad, but she doesn't know that yet.
She'll get there.
She will, especially when we move into our new house.
Yeah, when she's laying in a lounger in the pool, all of a sudden all the bad will go away.
Dang. No, That was it. Shit, I spent a ton of money on a fucking litter box. That's some white people shit. Got one of those litter robots.
Oh, I'm all like, did you say a litter box like for a cat?
Yeah, a litter box. It's a litter robot, self-cleaning.
Wait. Stop. Plus or minus, is it over or under the lightsaber?
Which lightsaber?
Today's lightsaber.
Today's lightsaber?
Yeah.
Way over.
And wait, does it come with an app?
It's over this lightsaber.
Get the hell out of here.
Does it come with an app?
Woo!
Yeah.
It better come with an app and a blowjob.
We'll have to see the app. It has just a camera inside, so you can actually see and be like, "No, you need to clean now."
It does. It has an app. It weighs each cat, so it knows which cat is in there. So you can keep track of your cat's weight. It automatically scoops their poop. There's like a little trash can under it. So after they're done, it rotates. It's like this big ass barrel, and it just rotates. So their poop falls into this little trash can. Then it rotates back, and then it's a clean litter box. Because ever since my wife got pregnant with the older one, fucking 14 years ago, she has not touched the litter box. It's been my job. Because cat poop has something in it that's like bad for immune compromised people and pregnant people and shit. So everybody wants fucking cats in this house. Nobody wants to take care of them. Except me.
Stuffed animals.
Right? So I've been like bending over and scooping poop and shit. I'm like, oh, this is fucking
back
stupid.
and shit.
So we're spending money on this.
With your back? Damn.
Right? Ugh. Bullshit. So yeah, no. So I'm like, I'm getting one of these. I don't give a fuck. But
Dude,
yeah,
that's plus faux. Damn.
But it has a
Look at that, unreal.
It came with a crescenda, which is basically just like it looks like a bookshelf almost.
Crescenda.
Or like
that's a princess in a fucking fairy tale.
Credenza.
There it is. So yeah, it looks like a table you put in your hallway, right, with like drawers and cupboards on it.
Oh, okay.
But it just has a litter box, bro, and the cats go in there. You just open it, take the poop out, and you're done. It even has USB chargers on it. So you can plug your phone in, put it on top of the cat box.
Good Lord, man. That's crazy.
But if I'm the only one that's going to be doing this shit, even though everybody wants cats, I'm making it easy for myself. So,
literally. The only one doing the shit, literally.
Exactly.
You're the only one doing this shit. Man, all right. More power to you. It sounds pretty badass. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
Last thing you guys...
It'll be on the credenza.
I need to work on my flexibility. I'm gonna check it out, see if I can poop in there myself, and see what happens.
Right? It's big enough. Stick your ass in there, dude. It's pretty big.
All of a sudden, the app starts blowing up. 185. Something that weighs 185 is.
185. You're being generous. 185.
It's because I love you, Lou.
I look at that. He wants me to be the little
actually, to be fair, I was just talking about your poop.
Oh, well, that makes more sense. That makes a lot more sense.
Somebody had Rigoberto. Somebody had Rigoberto's.
I just laid a Bono.
Real quick, I guess before we wrap it up, because we are
yeah.
Parking. You guys got all entered in on that, so we're good. We're dialed in.
I did 3 accounts. Ali did 2.
I think I did 2. I had my wife do a couple. We'll see.
Yeah.
Have Josie do a couple.
Right?
They're going to make her pay as a fucking adult now. May as well.
Right? I'll get some parking. Dang.
Man, I would have flown in earlier had I known I could have gone and picked up my badge on Tuesday. But
you won't need to. Yep. No, you can't because you have a pro badge with space.
Yeah. But
they're mailing it, bro.
Are they mailing it? Okay.
Yeah, they'll mail
yours come to my house. I'll have it.
To Stacy.
Okay.
So we'll have it when we come in. The only other, if you wanted to get it sooner, would be Jack gets it and then mails it to you.
Okay.
We'll get it in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, but you guys will be there.
My day trade, so my day trade's on the book, so we're going to Comic-Con.
Oh, okay, you're done.
So at least there will at least be half of you going to Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Well, three-fourths.
Well, 3/4 of us.
Yeah.
That
the cats. Wait, you're bringing the cats, or are you going to bring the cat box?
We'll talk about that offline. Never mind. Go ahead. Yeah, you got to bring the credenza.
Yeah.
Right?
And the cats.
I don't know, if you got a Kia Soul, it ain't going to fit, bro.
Well, it's Kia Soul size. I don't know what car it is yet. I can always it's
but
funny.
They're cats, not hamsters.
You know what? Well, again, I don't want to waste. We were already hour 45 into this.
24.
Yeah, hour 25.
Yeah. And once I cut out all the and because we're fucking morons, it'll cut it down.
It'll go to hour.
Awkward silences. Okay, we might not be back next week. It's summer vacation, so I got plans. We'll see. But if not, we'll see you in 2 weeks, and I'll have a great story to tell.
That sounds like a very inconsistent schedule.
Yes.
And
so vague.
So vague. Boom. What are they doing?
Finally living up to the title.
We have better writing than the Acolyte on this podcast.
Hey-o!
All right,
guys. All right. Have a good week, guys.
Laters.